Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Paula here from Ohana Therapeutic Massage, popping on for our Wellness Wednesday. And this week, I am going to talk about a topic that I think is very, very important, and I don't think people talk about it very often. And it's about preparing your body for your job in life. And this has nothing to do with how much you weigh. Absolutely nothing to do with how much you weigh. It has to do with how functional your body is. And the example that I can give from my own life experience is I do massage for a living. I do mostly myofascial release now, but either way, I've been doing this for a decade now. You have to prep your body to be able to do and handle the workload that you put upon it. And whether that's a desk job or a construction job or a hairstylist or a massage therapist in my personal case, if you don't prepare your body to handle what you're going to ask it to do all day and every day, your body will start screaming at you. And it's not going to be pretty when that happens. Herniated disc, bulging disc, low back, sciatica issues, all of these can kind of be prevented if we start taking the action now to prep our body to be able to actually handle what we give it. And so one of the big things, most people in our society happen to work at a desk or travel in a car or something like that. And so the first thing that I want to talk about when you're in one stable position like that is that if you ever have your muscles in one position for too long, where you're engaging them in a specific position for too long, good morning, Carrie, it starts kind of wearing on them. Your muscles, there's like an ATP phase that your muscles go and they contract and they pass over each other and then they relax. But if you're asking them to stay in one stable position, your muscles are going to fatigue and they're just going to start giving out on you. Either that or they're going to start overly contracted and almost start solidifying in those positions. And so if you do have to sit in one position for a very long time, one biggest thing you can do to help out your low back is to do pelvic tilts while you're sitting. And it's very, very, very simple to do. You just got to start actually doing it. And so I'm going to hop it on a chair here. When you do a pelvic tilt, what I'm talking about is we all have a natural curvature in our low back. If you're laying face up on the ground, you should be able to place a small hand between your low back and the ground. That's a neutral position. If you've ever done bar or Pilates or any of those kind of workouts, that's what they call a neutral position. One small hand. You should not be able to place a full fist between your low back and the ground. That means you have an anterior pelvic tilt and you're dumping forward. And so when you're sitting at your desk all day in one sedentary position or in a car if you're traveling, it's really easy to just kind of go through a couple of back and forth motions. And you really don't have to make it that exaggerated, but just something enough to break up that stable holding pattern that we're doing when we're sitting for too long. And so you would just arch forward and then tuck it and flatten your low back as much as possible. If you have bulging or herniated disc down here, you might not be able to go through a big range of motion, but that's okay. Any movement is better than no movement, and movement is life. So we want to keep on moving as long as possible because we want to stick around for a couple years yet. And so if you just arch and you kind of create it and then you tuck under, ideally you want to use your core muscles to tuck under. Many of us don't have really strong core muscles, so at first we're going to use our glutes a lot because it's a bigger and stronger muscle. Just try to keep on engaging that abdomen and kind of use your muscles down here to pull you up. And putting your hand there sometimes will help you train it at first to kind of tuck it back and then arch it forward. And so that's something really you can do, even if you're standing for long periods of time, that's something you can do without getting much attention drawn to you. Because most of us don't want to be seen exercising or what have you. Good morning, Katrina. And then another one I want to tell you is in a chair, really simple, easy, a figure four stretch. You just bring your one leg up and then you just lean forward. If you want to, you can push this knee down a little bit if your hip is okay with it, but this will stretch that hip and that glute and that low back area, especially if you can lean forward into it. And that's something you can do. You can hang out for 2 seconds. You can, good morning. You can hang out for a little bit longer. It's all up to what you want to do. And so just kind of cross forward and stretch, and nobody knows you're stretching. They just think you're fidgety. That's okay in our society. Stretching for some reason isn't. Do both sides. One side is always going to be tighter than the other. Always, because we're a little bit off balance. Most of us are. So my right side is just a little bit more stuck than my left side is. And that's okay. But you just lean forward and stretch into it. You should feel this all the way up your glute and your hip and into your low back. And then if we're going to stretch the back, we should stretch the front, especially because we're engaging that psoas muscle and all those hip flexors to keep us at that 90-degree angle. We're going to want to reset that periodically when we're sitting down. And so how you would do that is you move your chair and you would slide so almost one glute is off of that chair. And then hold on if you're a little bit unstable and uncomfortable in this position. And then you bring your leg and you just bring it behind you. Like almost like you're kneeling on the ground with that leg that's off, but try to keep it up if possible. Depending on your height. I'm tall, so this is going to be a little bit easier for me. You should feel a stretch all the way in the front here. Now, when you're in this position, don't arch your back because you're overstressing your back then. So try to keep it in that neutral position or even a tucked position where your back is flat. Then bring your leg back, and if you want to intensify it, then you can even stretch over and it'll go up this entire side of your body. Because most of us, we just sit like this all day long. Anything we can do to kind of create that length and that stretch in our body is really going to help reset all those muscles so that they don't become super accustomed to being in a shortened position. And so there's some simple stretches and tips. I really, really encourage you, prepare your body for what you expect of it. If you are sedentary, get up and stretch. Even if it's 5 minutes, like just during the workday, just get up, walk around, come back and sit down. Anything you can do, especially sedentary positions, I think they're saying are detrimental to your health like smoking. So get up and move. Get up and move, or even sit in your chair and stretch as much as possible. Otherwise, work out on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be intense. Even walking is going to help offset that and help get that blood flow that you need to all of your muscles in your body so that your immune system can function properly. You can get better sleep at night. There's just a host of benefits of just comes to functional movement. So there's my advice for you guys. As many of you know, I work a lot. I love what I do. I'm going out of town this weekend for a business training, which I'm super excited for. So I'm cramming all of my clients into 4 days. So in 4 days, I have 22 hours of sessions. And I can do it because I exercise and I move on a regular basis. I make sure I have proper body mechanics. That's huge to making sure that your longevity is there in any career that you have. But most of all, I just take proactive action to make sure that my body can handle what I'm asking of it. And if something is too much, I stop. I listen to my body of, yeah, that's not good for it, and I back off. So I'd encourage each and every one of you, functional, happy movement is great for your life. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Wellness Wednesday, and I will see you next time.